All right, welcome everybody. My name is Duke. Um, this is a short video on introducing you all to the sport of highlining, something I've been doing for about 5 years now. Well, I've actually been slacklining for 5 years. I've been highlining for 4 of those years. Um, Highlining is a sport that you can't just go try it. You've got to develop the skills in the park and get really good at walking a slack line between trees in the park. And then you take that same skill and bring it up high. You wear a climbing harness and you tie in with a traditional figure-8 knot. That's a piece of dynamic climbing rope. This allows you to fall any which direction, and you can go upside down, and you're nice and safe, provided you tied your knot right and cinched up your harness. And the fear of dying is a really good motivating factor to actually pay attention to what you're doing, which is another reason why I love highlining. It really has a way of totally putting me in the moment, forgetting about past and future, and just focusing on right now. So the first step is to be safe. You don't just walk off the cliff. We have a little device. It's like a carabiner with ball bearings, which you see right there. I just clipped in. And that allows me to roll out to a safe fall zone. So that way, if you fall, you don't hit your head on the edge of the cliff or something. So, and that second line you see there hanging off the main line that we walk on is a backup. And it's loose, so it doesn't interfere with the main line. So it serves two purposes: as a backup in case the main line fails, and as a walking aid as well. So I'm rolling out there on my hangover. I get to a safe fall zone. Make sure I'm not going to hit a tree or anything. And when you know you can fall safely, you're good to go. You have to stand up from a seated position. And there's a couple different techniques, quite a few different techniques actually, on how to do that. That's one of the skills you definitely have to have mastered in the park, to stand up from a seated position. The thing about highlining is a lot of it is not fun. A lot of it is very disturbing feelings. It's like your brain is saying, no, I don't want to do this. But you got to push through that. You got to push through that wall. Everything in you is telling you this is such a ridiculous space that I'm in with this little 1-inch wide piece of material to stand on that moves. You have to push through that. And it's very much like a moving meditation. I like to describe it as a state of zen-like calm, laced with a little bit of adrenaline. And the sport is really not about adrenaline. I know a lot of people think it probably would be. It's more about self-control and dealing with fear and uncomfortable feelings and being okay with that, and learning how to relax, quiet your mind, and focus. A big part of the learning process with highlining is learning about the rigging and the working load limits on the materials that you're using, understanding the math that's involved, knowing every detail of your gear, and understanding the working load limits really helps with the psychological part, because a lot of this is totally abandoning yourself to the gear and trusting your gear. Just like when you're rolling down the road in your car, you trust that everything's going to hold together and a wheel's not just going to fall off and you're going to get slammed into the 80, 90 mile an hour car that's cruising past you. So it's understanding that everything is dangerous in life. You could wake up and fall down the stairs and get killed. Everything is equally dangerous. You could die just laying in bed too much. You develop a disease. It's nothing is really more or less dangerous. Everything has risk involved. And ironically, the High Line is one place I actually feel pretty safe. It's everywhere else that seems like it's really dangerous. When I'm highlining, it seems like time stops. All there is right now. All there is these steps, this breath, these sounds of nature, this awareness of being present in the moment. That's why I love highlighting. So yeah, and I would say what is also so appealing about the sport is you can occupy spaces that are normally unoccupiable by a body. And that is, in this video, this is a very unexposed highline. An exposed highline, it would be like walking to a tower or a building where you don't see trees and the bank of the wall on the other side. This is more like a midline. This is like 50 or 60 feet high. But on some of the bigger high lines, all your eyes see is empty space. And that is really what is so awesome is walking in the exposure. Balancing in the exposure, otherwise known as funambulism. Funambulism is the art of balancing up high. Very, very addicting, you might say. And also, you'll see me walking there is to keep it safe. I won't try to walk off. I'll go down and sit down on the line. Because I know if I walk much farther than that and I were to take a leash fall, I could potentially hit my head on the bank over there. So the sport is very safe as long as you follow certain rules, you might say. So another thing a lot of people ask is, how do we get the line across? It's different in different scenarios, but one way is using a drone to fly a fishing string. And then the fishing string, once you fly the fishing string across, you pull a piece of paracord or tag line across, and then the tag line pulls the slack lines across. Other method is we take a rock, tie a string on there, and throw it over the cliff, and then tie that string or paracord onto the slack lines and pull them across. Let's show you guys a leash fall. Here in this, I'm doing some bounces. You can bounce on these things like a trampoline. Some high lines we put a lot of tension in. They're called freestyle high lines for bouncing and doing tricks. And I'll show you guys a leash fall coming right up here. And here I go. And that's all there is to it. It's very gentle on the body as well for the most part. You barely feel it when you fall. So thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and share. Thank you.